네. 그럼 지금부터 2023 글로벌 코리아 포럼 캄보디아 국가 정책 연구 역량
Now we will begin 2023 Global Forum on Cambodia International Seminar on National Policy Research. I am Han Jung-mi at Korea Legislation Research Institute. We had rather early morning, and I would like to thank all the participants for joining our session. KLRI have been cooperating with the Royal Academy of Cambodia to build national policy research capacity building system for realizing sustainable future for Cambodia. In this session, experts from both countries will gather to share their research outcomes derived from the Cambodia national policy research capacity building and have in-depth discussions so that effective Cambodian government policy measures can be proposed. And now I'd like to proceed with the greetings. First, we have President Sokdu-wip of Royal Academy of Academy. Please give him a big round of applause.
안녕하세요. Good morning. 하룬 수스다이.ថ្ងៃនេះ ខ្ញុំ ពិតជាមានកិត្តិយស
안녕하십니까? 대한민국 경인사회 정혜구 이사장님께 존경의 말씀을 드립니다. 그리고 한영수 한국법제연구원장님, 그리고 이 자리에 참석하신 모든 교수님과 또 해외에서 그리고 국내에서 오신 귀빈 여러분.
ដែលបានចូលរួមជាមួយអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអស់លោកស្រីនឹងថ្លែងសន្ទរកថាបើកសិក្ខាសាលាការផ្សព្វផ្សាយលទ្ធផលស្រាវជ្រាវរួមគ្នាសម្រាប់ឆ្នាំទី1និងឆ្នាំទី2នៃគម្រោងកសាងសមត្ថភាពស្រាវជ្រាវគោលនយោបាយជាតិរបស់កម្ពុជា ODA និងយន្តការសម្រាប់កិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការរវាងកូរ៉េកម្ពុជាដែលរៀបចំឡើងដោយវិទ្យាស្ថានស្រាវជ្រាវកូរ៉េ KLRI នាពេលនេះជាមួយនេះខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណដល់អាយដាមហាងយុងស៊ូប្រធានវិទ្យាស្ថានស្រាវជ្រាវកូរ៉េ KLRI ដែលបានដាក់ឲ្យរាជមន្ត្រីកម្ពុជាចូលជាសមាជិកបណ្ដាញព័ត៌មានច្បាប់អាស៊ីដែលហៅកាត់ថា Island កាលពីដើមខែកញ្ញាកន្លងថ្មីនេះនៅទីក្រុងតៃប៉េក្រុងតៃវ៉ាន់កោះតៃវ៉ាន់អាយដាមលោកជំទាវអស់លោកស្រីភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ជាទីគោរពនិងជាទីរាប់អានខ្ញុំសូមវាយតម្លៃខ្ពស់ចំពោះវិទ្យាស្ថាន KLRI ដែលបានផ្ដួចផ្ដើមគំនិតរៀបចំវេទិកាដ៏មានសារៈសំខាន់នេះឡើងបានយ៉ាងល្អនិងប្រសិទ្ធភាពខ្ពស់ខ្ញុំនៅចាំបានថាក្រោយពេលរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជាបានចុះកិច្ចព្រមព្រៀងជាមួយ KLRI កាលពីថ្ងៃទី9ខែកុម្ភៈឆ្នាំ2023យើងបានសិក្សាលើការវិភាគស្ថានភាពស្រាវជ្រាវគោលនយោបាយនៃរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជារបបកំហើញនៃការស្រាវជ្រាវខាងលើពិតជាបានផ្ដល់ធាតុចូលមួយយ៉ាងសំខាន់ដល់រាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជាជោគជ័យនៃគម្រោងស្រាវជ្រាវទី1បានប្រកាសជាផ្លូវការឲ្យស្ថាប័នយើងទាំងពីរបន្តការរួមគ្នាលើគម្រោងស្រាវជ្រាវពីរទៀតរួមមានគម្រោងស្រាវជ្រាវស្ដីពីច្បាប់វិនិយោគទុននៅកម្ពុជានិងគម្រោងទី2ស្ដីអំពីការរៀបចំគោលនយោបាយស្រាវជ្រាវនៅកម្ពុជាខ្ញុំយល់ថាគម្រោងស្រាវជ្រាវទាំងពីរពិតជាមានសារៈសំខាន់សម្រាប់ប្រទេសកម្ពុជានិយាយជារួមព្រោះច្បាប់វិនិយោគនៅកម្ពុជាហាក់នៅមានកម្រិតនៅឡើយនិងសម្រាប់រាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជានឹងវិនិយោគដោយឡែកខណៈដែលរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជានីតិកាលទី7នៃរដ្ឋសភាបានដាក់ចេញនៅយុទ្ធសាស្ត្របញ្ចកោណ ក្នុងការអនុវត្តគោលនយោបាយរបស់ខ្លួនសម្ដៅតាក់ទាញអ្នកវិនិយោគទុនបរទេសហើយរាជមន្ត្រីកម្ពុជាជាស្ថាប័នធនាគារខួរក្បាលដ៏មានសារៈសំខាន់ក្នុងការស្រាវជ្រាវដែលត្រូវទទួលនៅអាណត្តិផ្ដល់អនុសាសន៍គោលនយោបាយរបស់រាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលដូច្នេះលទ្ធផលនៃការស្រាវជ្រាវរួមគ្នាគឺពិតជាមានធាតុចូលដ៏សំខាន់សម្រាប់រាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលរបស់កម្ពុជាក្រោមក្របខ័ណ្ឌនៃយុទ្ធសាស្ត្របញ្ចកោណមានប្រធានបទជាអតិភិបជាច្រើនទៀតដែលស្ថាប័នយើងទាំងពីរនឹងអាចធ្វើរួមគ្នានឹងរួមចំណែកលើកកម្ពស់ប្រសិទ្ធភាពនៃការអនុវត្តយុទ្ធសាស្ត្របញ្ចកោណរបស់រាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាជាមួយនេះដែរខ្ញុំសូមយកវេទិកានេះស្នើដល់អ្នកសិក្សាស្រាវជ្រាវនៃរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជានិងវិទ្យាស្ថាន KLRI បន្តលទ្ធភាពធ្វើការជាមួយគ្នានៅឆ្នាំបន្តទៅទៀតដែលខ្ញុំបានលើកឡើងនៅពាក្យស្លោកថាអង្គុយធ្វើការរួមគ្នាដើម្បីផលប្រយោជន៍ទាំងអស់គ្នានិងផលប្រយោជន៍ពិភពលោកយើងទាំងមូលអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអស់លោកស្រីភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ជាទីគោរពនិងជាទីរាប់អានជាថ្មីម្ដងទៀតសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណដល់ថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំ NRC ជាពិសេសអាយដាមប្រធានក្រុមប្រឹក្សាការងារតែងតែជួយសម្របសម្រួលនិងជំរុញកិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការរបស់យើងឲ្យឈានទៅដល់ដំណាក់កាលកាន់តែល្អប្រសើរឡើងជាលំដាប់ចាប់តាំងពីរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជានិង NRC បានចុះអនុសារណៈយោគយល់គ្នាជាងមួយឆ្នាំកាលពីឆ្នាំ2019មកយើងបានខិតខំនៅជិតគ្នាកាន់តែខ្លាំងជាក់ស្ដែងក្រោយពីក្របខ័ណ្ឌនៃ NRC នៃរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជាបានរួមសហការជាមួយវិទ្យាស្ថានស្រាវជ្រាវច្បាប់កូរ៉េ KLRI ដែលបានចុះអនុសារណៈនៃការយោគយល់គ្នាកាលពីថ្ងៃទី9ខែកុម្ភៈឆ្នាំ2023កន្លងទៅនេះហើយរាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជាក៏ទើបតែបានចុះអនុសារណៈយោគយល់គ្នាជាមួយនឹងសាលាគោលនយោបាយសាធារណៈនិងកូរ៉េ KDI School កាលពីថ្ងៃទី20ខែវិច្ឆិកាឆ្នាំ2023នេះក៏ដូចជាវិទ្យាស្ថានកូរ៉េសម្រាប់គោលនយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចអន្តរជាតិ KEAP ជាដើមខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាវិទ្យាស្ថានផ្សេងទៀត NRC នឹងក្លាយទៅជាដៃគូសហការរបស់រាជមន្ត្រីសភាកម្ពុជានាពេលថ្ងៃអនាគតអាយដាមលោកជំទាវអស់លោកស្រីភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ជាទីគោរពនិងជាទីរាប់អានជាទីបញ្ចប់សូមជូនពរឲ្យវេទិកាថ្ងៃនេះមានដំណើរការយ៉ាងរលូនពិតពិភាក្សាប្រកបដោយជោគជ័យនិងភាពផ្លែផ្កាដើម្បីសូមសំណូមពរទៅដល់អាយដាមភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិទាំងអស់ទទួលបាននូវសុខភាពនិងជោគជ័យភារកិច្ចនិងស្នាមញញឹមសេចក្តីស្រឡាញ់មានសេចក្តីស្រឡាញ់នោះពិភពលោកយើងនឹងមានសន្តិភាពខ្ញុំសូមប្រកាសបើកអង្គសិក្ខាសាលានិងការផ្សព្វផ្សាយលទ្ធផលស្រាវជ្រាវរួមគ្នានៅឆ្នាំទី1ឆ្នាំទី2នៃគម្រោងកសាងសមត្ថភាពស្រាវជ្រាវគោលនយោបាយកម្ពុជា ODA និងយន្តការសម្រាប់កិច្ចសហប្រតិបត្តិការរវាងកម្ពុជាកូរ៉េចាប់ពីពេលនេះតទៅសូមអរគុណ
네, 원장님 감사드립니다.
Yes, thank you very much for those remarks. Next is congratulatory speech, and Chairperson Hae-gu Chung prepared the speech. However, he was unable to attend in person, and so Director General Byung-deok Cho of the NRC will be delivering the congratulatory speech in Chairperson Chung's place. Yes, Chairperson Chung had to go to a meeting in Sejong City and he was unable to attend, so I deliver his apologies. And I will be reading Chairperson Chung's speech. Good morning. I am Hae-gu Chung, Chairperson of NRC. I would like to congratulate the Cambodia International Seminar on National Policy Research organized by KLRI. I would like to thank President Young-Soo Han of KLRI and also President Sok-do-it of RAC for putting together this session. And I also thank the staff members of the two institutes. Also, we have a delegation from Cambodia visiting in person, so I would like to thank you for coming. Some of them will be participating as discussants, and of course, we have President Sok Do-it in person as well. There has been joint research between NRC and RAC to strengthen the national policy research capabilities of Cambodia. And in the past year, they have looked at the organization of RAC. And this year, there has been some reflections on the agricultural reality in Cambodia, and we have looked at future policy direction for sixth industry development in Cambodia. And this year is the second year of research, and there was follow-up research to last year's research, and also there was further research on the foreign investment laws of Cambodia. And so through today's seminar, we will be looking back on the achievements of the past 2 years, and we will seek measures for win-win cooperation between the two nations. We will have two presentations today. One is on the study on the policy research capability of the RAC, and the second presentation will be the main contents and improvements of foreign investment-related legislation in Cambodia. And we will be integrating the different research results that we had thus far, and we will be setting the direction for next year's research. And of course, the leading research institute of the Korean side will change from NRC to the KDI School of Public Policy and Management, so we must prepare in advance. I would like to thank all of you for coming to today's seminar, and I hope that today's session will contribute greatly to the development of the relationship between the two nations. NRC will continue to provide support for this partnership. I also want to thank the members who have come all the way from Cambodia, the members of the RAC, and I want to welcome the people participating in the invitational training program. So once again, thank you, and I hope that this session will strengthen the capabilities in the two nations. Yes, thank you.
부장님께서
Next, we have Han Young-soo from KLRI, but unfortunately, due to his busy schedule, he couldn't able to join us, so I'll be reading his welcome speech instead. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Han Young-soo, President of Korea Legislation Research Institute. I'd like to welcome everyone to 2023 Global Korea Forum, which is being held from early morning. Also, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Sok-do, President of the RAC, and also from the National Institute for Economics, Humanities, and Social Research for traveling a long way to join our forum. Also, I'd like to thank our moderators, presenters, and panelists for their participation. Today, at this forum, we will explore ways to standardize the process of conducting policy research in Cambodia under the theme of Korea-Cambodia National Policy Research for Win-Win Cooperation, and discuss some of the main content of Cambodia's foreign investment legislations. Since the signing of MOU on research cooperation between KLRI and RAC in 2019, KLRI has been striving to build an effective cooperation system with the goal of realizing a sustainable future by conducting joint research on strengthening Cambodia's national policy research capacity since 2022. In addition, KLRI has been actively engaged in human and academic exchanges by signing an MOA with the RAC in 2023 and encouraging participation as a member of LNIN. I hope that today's event will serve a foundation for close communication between two countries and solidify the collaboration between the two countries. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today and all the organizers for preparing this event. Thank you very much.
네, 다음으로는
Next, we will prepare the stage for the next part of the program, and we will have a group photo session. We will be taking 2 pictures. So first, I would like to invite today's VIPs, presenters, and take a group photo. And the second photo will be of the entire group, including the members participating in the RAC Invitational Training Program.
네, 그러면 먼저 귀빈과 세션 참석자분
So first, I would like to invite today's VIPs and also the contributors to the session, the presenters and the discussants.
네, 전체 촬영하도록 하겠습니다.
We will now take a picture of the entire group. So all participants, please come up to the stage.
네, 초청 연수단 분들 네, 다 앞으로 나와 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
The members participating in the invitational training program, please come to the front.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you. So we will prepare the stage and go into today's presentations and panel discussions.
네, 오늘 발표와
The chair for the presentations and the discussions will be done by Professor Wan-sik Hong of Konkuk Law School. Good morning. My name is Wan-sik Hong.
안녕하세요.
Good morning. So we are holding this session on Cambodia International Seminar on National Policy Research, and I will be the moderator for the next session. And Ms. Han has provided us with the details, but as part of 2023 Global Korea Forum, we are having this session on Cambodia. And we will be talking about joint research between Korea Legislation Research Institute and RAC. And it is an honor for me to be chairing this very meaningful session. And I believe that this session is being broadcast on YouTube, and that is why we must adhere to the time schedule. So we have a time schedule for this session, and please remember to adhere to the time schedule. And I would like to ask all the speakers to adhere to their given time. And so let's begin the presentations. The first keynote speech will be on a study on the policy research capacity of the RAC, and senior research fellow of KLRI, Mr. Myung-un Chung, will be making that presentation. Let's welcome him with a big hand. Good morning. Nice to meet all of you. It's quite early, and we're beginning very early in the morning. So on one hand, I'm very grateful, and on the other hand, perhaps you are not quite awake. However, I would like to make a very short and impactful presentation for you. And I would like to present on a study on the policy research capacity of the RAC, and I would like to talk about the process that has to do with the research. And so I think you can take a brief look at the overall research process. And so I would like to talk about the outline of the research and the main research results. Now, first, background and objective of the research. I would like to go over this briefly. So we had the opening remarks, congratulatory speech, and welcoming speech. And as was mentioned in these speeches, this is the second round of research, and it was a follow-up research project to the first round of research. So KLRI and NRC and RAC were involved. And we focused on the specific issues of the recipient country, and we wanted to seek win-win strategies and solutions. And we focused on how to strengthen the capability, the research capability of RAC. As for the objectives of this research, well, we wanted to diagnose the current status of the national policy research process of RAC, and we wanted to analyze the detailed process and draw improvement points. And we wanted to standardize measures to improve the policy research process of RAC. And next, I would like to talk about the scope and method of the research that we carried out. So first of all, we did literature analysis. So we began with literature analysis, and then we did current status research, and then joint research with local experts. And then we had a regular working level meetings with the researchers. And we had a cooperative system between the three organizations. So we were able to identify some current issues, and we were able to come up with some suggestions for improvement. And we also looked into the research regulations of the research institutes that we wanted to benchmark. As you can see here, these are the process steps that we took. That's in there for your reference. And regarding the assessment of the current research process, I think you can refer to the slide that has been distributed. I would like to just point out some of the major steps here, major points here. So regarding diagnosis of the current research process at RAC, well, we looked at their current status, and we surveyed 21 members of the RAC Secretariat and Institute. The survey went on for about 3 weeks, starting from September 4th of this year. And so these were the survey items, and I would like to go over these survey items in more detail from now on. So regarding the assessment of the current status, well, we asked opinions about the research process that they currently had at the RAC. And many issues were pointed out, problems in terms of communication and lack of a detailed program, lack of transparency, and the need for promotion of the research results. And the second part here, the data management plan, many people voiced that there was a requirement for a data management plan. And also there is a necessity of strengthening cooperative research. Next, I would like to talk about the research procedure. So regarding research procedure, well, there are steps to the research procedure. So proposal and support for research, resource, and publication, and publishing and dissemination, and so forth. So again, communication, lack of communication was mentioned as well, and there were unclear guidelines regarding research proposals. And so thus, there is a strong need for guidelines regarding these process steps. Especially, there were some suggestions for improvement in relation to research resources, and additional support was needed for publication as well. Also, they needed a more structured submission form for research proposals, and also they needed to allocate research resources better in order to enable the participation of experts. Next, this slide has to do with research data. Here we needed to work on transparency. That is why we need systematic research, and they needed a DMP here as well. So they need a plan to accumulate the research data, and they have to set up a DMP. They need data storage and a portal for the management of the data. And I think this is related to the regulation that I'm going to talk about later. Next has to do with deliberation of research results and performance sharing meetings. And a lot of the opinion that we got here was that in order to enhance quality, they have to do a better job of sharing research results at RAC. And in order to do that, we need to set up a deliberation committee, and also there should be regular meetings in order to share the research results. Also, we need to provide insights by having the participation of outside experts as well. Next, we asked about what they thought about Korean cases. And of note here, of course, we have Korean agencies and institutes, and we asked the RAC staff members about what they thought about the Korean institutes, their personnel and process and so forth. And we could tell that the members of RAC, they were very much interested in the case of Korea, and they had a analysis or process step that includes the entire life cycle analysis. And RAC were looking towards us for suggestions on improving their system. And likewise, in terms of research collaboration and research regulation, we had some survey questions as well. Regarding research regulation, it has to do with ethics, transparency, and responsibility and accountability. And the members mentioned that they need research regulations to ensure these qualities. And some alternative suggestions were made as well. And as for the details, please refer to the slides. Actually, we got various opinions from the RAC members, and I cannot go into all of them during the presentation, so please refer to the slides at your leisure. Next, I would like to talk about additional benchmark. So we have NRC and affiliated organizations, and then we have the CDRI, Cambodia Development Organization. And I believe that the two agencies have some similarities, and there were some points that we could learn from these similarities. And also, we collected free opinion from the members. And there were many opinions about the manpower and the budget. And there is a need to expand further support, including budget. And so in order to recruit more researchers at RAC and to enhance their capability, of course, there has to be continued cooperation between NRC and RAC. And this is the slide that I can show you as part of the conclusion. Here on this slide, I summarize the measures to improve research processes. And so this is the large framework that we were able to come up with. So we have three categories: research planning, conducting research, and then performance diffusion. So we had specific topics in these three categories, and then we set up we need to set up regulations, we need to set up the goals for the research, how are we going to come up with better proposals for the research, and what are we going to do about research ethics, and when should the due date be for this report, and what type of format should this report have, and so forth. And also, what kind of system should we have for gaining more publicity? Also, RAC does an annual session where they share their research results. However, this has to be further broadened so that more people can participate and there could be better diffusion of the research results. This should be done more effectively. So these opinions were gathered, and I think all those opinions were summarized in this one slide. And so in order to implement all of this in a very systematic way, well, of course, we need to do a project on standardization. And what is also important is, in the future, these research projects should not be a one-time thing, but they should be thought of in a longer term. And so NRC continues international cooperation and there are different capabilities of the different research institutes. There are different capabilities of the individual researchers. And in order to enhance the capabilities of the agencies and the personnel, NRC is engaging in international cooperation. That's the objective, and that has to be further strengthened. So that would be one of the future tasks. And the second is the National Research Portal. Many people pointed out there is a need for such a portal. And based on these policy researches, we have the founding objective of NRC and also the KORI. They are policy research agencies, and they need to come up with better policy, and that has to be utilized in actual state policies to further develop the nation. And so that would be the role and founding objective of the three institutes. And in order to facilitate that, we need a portal which will enable the realization of such goals and objectives. Also, there was talk about evaluation following the completion of research. So, of course, we need to be evaluating the individual researchers, but we also need to be assessing and evaluating the research institutes as well. And so the research institutes will be showing results of their research, and we need to evaluate the research results. And so there were opinions that we need a better system to assess the different agencies and their research results. And so these are the policy-related tasks that need to be carried out in the midterm and long term. So we have personnel in the NRC and also the KLRI, and I believe that the presidents of the institutes and all the staff members have to all work together to achieve our goals. So thank you very much for your opinion, for your attention.
감사합니다.
Thank you very much. With RAC, KLRI has signed MOU and began the first and second year of this National Policy Research Capacity Building project. Sharing the tips and know-how of KLRI to RAC were mentioned. And also we have 21 interviewees from the RAC as well. Once again, I'd like to thank Research Fellow Chung Myung-eun for his presentation. We are going to reorganize the stage for panel discussion.
정리하는
Whilst we do the reorganization, I'd like to remind once again about our time schedule. There were delays from the earlier programs. So we were actually allocated 20 minutes for panel discussions. There are 4 discussants, and I would like to ask about 4 minutes to each discussant, and really sincerely ask you once again to keep your timing. Now, I would like to ask discussants to come up to the stage.
예.
And now, the discussion will take the order laid out in the program book. We have Wang Sam-eum, researcher from the RAC. Let me do a round of introduction first, and then we'll do a round of applause at the end. We have Wang Seo-um, researcher, RAC. We have Professor Tae-in Kim from Ewha Law School, and we have Park Hyo-eun from the University of Seoul, and also Hyunhee Choi from KDI. Please give them a big round of applause. So now I would like to ask Wang Seo-um, who has given us materials for his discussion, but because of the space limit, we have provided you with a hard copy of his presentation discussion materials. Please make a reference to these materials. You have 4 minutes.
Thank chairs and honorable excellency, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished quiz guests who are present here this morning. So let me take a few minutes in order to highlight the research process as a whole in Cambodia, and particularly in Royal Academy of Cambodia. I will highlight 3 important things that I call 3 F. So let me share with all of you with the first F, focus on feedback, what. So what here mean what we have done at RAS in terms of research policies, and also what challenges that RAS face in terms of preparing and conducting research, and also in Cambodia as a whole. So let me start with the first points of strength of Royal Academy Cambodia. So it is recognized as intellectual center for country. It means that we have different and numerous national intelligence who graduate from different countries and locally, from some Europe, from some Asian, and also in the country. So those comes and work together. So I could say that this is a pool of intellectual that we have addressed in order to build up our research process and policies. In addition, RA also consider as an institute to provide inputs to the governments and institution, and also RA help shape country vision and development policies in terms of the research that RA have conducted. However, we also find out some challenges while we are preparing, organizing our research. So let me say it as a whole in Cambodia. From Cambodian researchers, they share the challenge and also issue of research development in the country, including limited funding, limited resources, lack of research capacities, linguistic barrier and cultural barrier, inaccurate research policy or guideline, limited academic freedom, to name a few. And this barrier we also find more or less at Royal Academy of Cambodia. Let me get into second F that focus on feed forward. How we know our strength. At the same time, we also know our challenge. So let me one example related to this. For example, right now, We are invited by NRC. We also collaborate with KLOI, with KIEP, in order to join this international conference. It means that it's a time that we can learn and build up what we have already done with our research in our country. We learned how to conduct research from the conference. We learned the process and the procedures shared by scholars during the conference. And also, we build networks with others in Korea. So this is how we can build up, and especially to achieve our challenge that we have so far faced. Last but not least, let me go to the last point. F, I mean third F, focus on fit up. Fit up here refer to where we want to go. Because right now we know our feedback, we know our feed forward, we mean that we know our challenge, we know our strength, and what should we do with this, and where should we go? When talking about feed up, where should we go here? Let me take the opportunity to share with you. The question always asked, why do we need to conduct research? Is it important? Yes. It helps economical growth because of research. It helps country to become green because of research. It helps country to become knowledge-based society because of research. Or it can bring us to be global citizen, also come from research. It even can bring our country to be global countries. It also the result from research. And then we reconsider, should we conduct research just only for institution-based research result? I mean that the research just only for our institution? Or it should be nation-based research result, it's just for our country, it doesn't have to share with other country? Or it need to be international-based research result that we can bring our research result, not just only share locally, but internationally. To raise an example of what we are doing right now. Thank you.
예, 감사합니다. 여러 가지
So you have mentioned about research challenges and limitations and some of the difficulties that you are experiencing at your institution and some of the challenges that you like to address. And you mentioned strengths, weaknesses, recommendations of your institution. And you also inserted some photos too, so that we can learn about your institution and the kinds of research that you are doing. Thank you once again for your presentation. I'd like to give a big round of applause to researcher Vong Sao.
딘 교수님께
So next is Professor Tae-in Kim. Yes. I would like to talk about the meaning and significance of National Policy Research Institutes in Korea. My major and expertise is law, and this session is organized by KLRI. So I would like to talk about the significance of the institute in Korean society. So first of all, I want to talk about the fact that the National Policy Research Institutes carry about policy-friendly research, and that's the significance. Now, we have different ministries in Korea, and they all have their own research institutes, and of course, there's close communication among the research institutes. Now, these individual RIs, well, sometimes they're criticized because they only speak for their own ministry. However, I think there is a very big advantage because the research that they engage in are actually policy friendly. Now, the KLRI is, of course, related closely to the Office of Legislation. However, I think they are more neutral in the type of research that they carry out. That is possible because the Office of Legislation has a unique characteristic because it can do meta-analysis of the government regulations. And of course, all ministries need legal grounds for what they do, and they need relevant legislation. And of course, there is support and exchange with academic societies. And I want to point that out. Now we have KLRI. It is carrying out joint academic symposia with many different societies. And the researchers of KLRI are quite active in other academic societies as well. So also seminars are held by gathering with overseas scholars as well. And for example, at Hawaii University, K-Law Forum was held, and at that time, many Korean scholars residing in U.S. universities participated in the forum. And so it is quite meaningful that we have these international sessions where many Korean scholars can gather together. Also, national policy research institutes, including KLRI, provide various research data and information. So KLRI has periodic publication of reports, and they also collect overseas legislation. And oftentimes we have experts who are studying overseas, and they are in a good position to collect the overseas legislation. And also, I think it is very important that we enhance the level of comparative law in Korea. So we must study the law in foreign countries, and then we must tailor that to fit the Korean situation and come out with our own legislation. And so it is important to heighten the level of comparative law, and I think that is one very important role that is being played by KLRI. So as a National Policy Research Institute, KLRI is setting a very good example, and I think there are many things that Cambodia can learn from the role of KLRI. And that is it. Thank you. Yes, I don't think I need to summarize. I think we need to move on.
교수님께
Next, we have Professor Park. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Park Hyun from University of School, and I work in International School of Urban Sciences. One of the work that I do here is to train civil servants. For the past 10 years, I was part of training of Cambodian students. And also we are having support from Ministry of Education, where we have established a department of sustainable planning in a university in Cambodia. And we have selected first-year student of the university of this university. So in Phnom Penh, I have been working with students in the fields of public policy making. And from my experiences, I'd like to make a few comments. By 2030, Cambodia aims to become a middle-income country, which is an important Cambodia's strategy. And if we look at Singapore's growth from governance point of view, there is a book about this. To make a good policy, there are three pillars. First is thinking ahead. We need to predict and think ahead of how the nation should go forward. Second is about think again, how these current policies are being implemented, and we need to make a relevant assessment. Number three is thinking across. You need to see and monitor how other countries are doing. Such capabilities are some of the capabilities that cannot be really seen from many public servants. So it is important that our public servants have more in-depth and broad understanding. So I think this is a very important contribution that public servants can make. I also worked in KDI for 13 years. Whilst my time in KDI, the most important value at the institution, well, I can summarize in two keywords. First is evidence-based policy formulation, and second is intellectual leadership. So research institutions must be able to lead policy making. And in order to do that, research institutions must have these two capabilities. I have done many projects with Cambodia and probably visited about 15 times to the country. So in terms of urban planning, Cambodia's infrastructure, and I have met with many government officials in these fields. So I visited Ministry of Land, National Council of Sustainable Development, and Phnom Penh Capital Administration. These are the agencies that I visit most. And whenever I visit Cambodia, I also meet with faculties of universities in Cambodia. And my general impression is that public servants in Cambodia are very proud of themselves, and I have general impression that they are not really confident. So the role of government think tank is that these institutions must have evidence-based policy formulation that can be linked to policy making of a nation. And what I have learned is that the government isn't really ready to accept the outputs and the results of the research from these institutions. And there is a general tendency of the government think tanks in general. And I've done kind of a SWOT analysis. And one of the biggest strengths of research institutions is that they have a better analytical power. These researchers have better analytical power than public servants. So in the field of urban planning, for example, we deal with sustainable development, climate change, which many public servants are very well aware of. And it is in order to convince these public servants, you need to suggest with strong proof. Otherwise, it is very difficult to link these researches into policies. Researchers, compared to public servants, may have lack of data accessibility, but researchers have a better capability in terms of doing more in-depth analysis and in-depth research. If we don't maximize these competencies of research institutions, they will face limitation. Another point is that we need to think more about the role of research institutions. The advantages of government think tanks over private think tanks is that government think tanks have a relatively higher data accessibility. But with the development of internet and social network, big data, the comparative advantages that government think tanks may not last. And also the expectations that people have on government think tanks is not about seeking for correct answers, but rather doing more communication with citizens to make a social consensus and providing a platform for communication. So if RAC can meet these needs and have a right direction to go forward, I believe this can go well. This is a long-term research topic. And just to add a few more notes, if we improve the internal research process, there is a room to improve productivity of research. But in the bigger picture, if we improve governance, we can certainly improve productivity. Based on the experiences of Korea, at the end, intellectual-based institutions need to identify talents. The reason how Captain Ferguson could become a legend is that he was able to identify great talent in the field. That's why he could be a legendary kind of captain director of a football club, so that your ability to attract excellent talents is very important. And also compensation and rewards are very important as well. So other than improving the internal research processes within your institution, maybe we could look at a bigger picture to improve the general governance. Thank you very much.
이렇게 소개를 하셨.
You have mentioned that you have worked in KDI. Now I would like to give my microphone to KDI 최현희.
장 최현입니다.
Yes, hello. My name is Hyunhee Che. I'm from KDI. I have listened to the first keynote speech, and I was able to find out about the research done, and I was able to know the details of the different steps. So I have two opinions after listening to the speech. Now, at our center, we have a similar case, so I would like to share that case with you. So we have Case P program, and based on our experience in economic development, we provide knowledge-based or knowledge-sharing projects, and we have provided consulting for more than 90 cases. And this is quite similar to the research done with RAC. And so we had similar research done with Vietnam and Myanmar. And they have a strategy development research institute in Vietnam. and they come up with national strategies, and we provided policy consulting to that institute. And in the past few years, we were quite involved in establishing the development plans for Vietnam. The second case is Myanmar, and we tried to establish a similar institute in Myanmar, similar to KDI. So it is an independent think tank, and there was support of the material and funds, and also there was invitational training sessions and so forth. What I felt during the project, or the challenges that I felt, is that, as was said before, we wanted the think tank to be independent from the government. So we wanted to have a separate, independent presidential decree to be the legal basis for this institute. That was quite important. And so the Myanmar Development Research Institute has been established. It is currently under operation. And also, the second part of this session will be looking at the improvement of foreign investment related legislation in Cambodia, and I have some suggestions on this area as well. Research institutes are established by grants from the government, and I believe Cambodia coming up with legal grounds, similar legal grounds, would be quite important. And also there was another suggestion about a government policy research portal that was quite interesting, and I believe that is a way to enhance the capabilities of the research institute. So high throughput computing systems, software, and other technology related items could be scaled up, and the skill level could go up as well. And the second suggestion that I want to make in order to enhance the capabilities of the RAC is to have a joint scholarship program for joint research and to provide degrees to members of the RAC. And the future policy direction suggestions that have been made, I found these suggestions to be very relevant. And if I add to that, I think we can work with other surrounding nations. And I believe that Cambodia can work with surrounding nations such as Vietnam, Myanmar, and so forth, because these countries may share some common issues. And by tackling these issues together and coming up with solutions, perhaps they can come up with a solution that is best for the entire region. And that is all. Thank you.
감사합니다. 시간 지켜주셔서
Thank you for your discussion. We actually have a session to open the floor to get questions, but due to time constraint, we will probably get some comments after the whole program. And now we will wrap up the first presentation and follow-up discussion. Thank you very much for your discussion. Let's reorganize the stage. Whilst we reorganize the stage, we will actually leave the table on the stage. We will just change the name tags. Now, for the second presentation, we have Research Fellow Lee Ki-pyong from KLRI to present us about the main contents and improvements of foreign investment related legislation in Cambodia. The materials are very in details, so maybe this could be used in discussion. Hello everyone, I am Igi Pyo from KLRI. We have many participants here today. The reason I joined this research project is that I was actually focusing on foreign investment law in my PhD study, and it reminded of my past experiences whilst I was a PhD student. So if you look at the content, there are 4 parts. We have the current status of FDI, which you could just refer to the materials. And let me just go through the foreign investment related laws in Cambodia. What we have to go through is that the problems of foreign investment law in Cambodia and what are the improvements. So I will try to focus on part 3 and part 4 of my presentation. Just a brief status about FDI. You can just see the materials. Interesting part is that Greater China region has very large inflows of FDI in Cambodia. So the accumulated amount is about 41 billion, of which half of them are coming from Greater China. Second place goes to Korea, but there's a big gap with Greater China region. So the top 5 FDI inflow takes about 70 to 80%. So they are relying on Pacific countries for FDI inflow. So if you look at the foreign investment related laws in Cambodia, there are many laws related to foreign investment. There are many decrees. On top of these decrees, there are also international law related to foreign investment. So when a foreigner makes an investment in other country, the laws that foreigners can use, there are a lot. Nowadays, domestic laws are also important, but international investment law, international treaties are very important as well. And Cambodia has entered many investment agreements and treaties with other countries. So we need to analyze all of these international laws together with the national laws. So the quantity was a lot, but our research period was very short. I focused on the foreign investment related laws in Cambodia. I was surprised that Cambodia was very actively engaging in making BITs with other countries. And there was Cambodia Model BIT. We don't even have this Model BIT. Model BIT is that when a country is entering an investment agreement, this Model BIT is used as a foundation. This Model BIT was actually made in late 1990s. So when Cambodia was entering investment agreements with other countries, they took very systematic approach, which means that Cambodia was very much interested in attracting investment from foreign countries. So I must say Cambodia has a very high level of engagement and laws. However, Cambodia's national law is rather lacking in terms of content and its strength. So today I am going to look at new foreign investment laws in Cambodia since 2021. If you look at Model BIT, there are general articles, general content, which go in line with many international investment agreements as well. Now, if we look at the content, if I say briefly, Cambodia is using the term investment law. Because in other countries, they normally use, for example, Investment Promotion Act, but Cambodia doesn't have foreign investment law. Cambodia only has investment law. So they have integrated both domestic and foreign investment in Korea under this investment law. So there is really they didn't really distinguish between domestic and foreign investment. Probably we can analyze that this is to actively attract investment from foreign countries. Maybe this is a similar trend across Southeast Asia. For example, we can see this in Vietnam too, but if you look at actual content, they are very different. They are under the name of investment law. It has been revised several times, and now is the newly revised investment law of 2021. If we compare with the past, the number of articles has increased, so there has been a significant institutional change within this investment law. So please have a look at the materials. I am going to skip these parts, and I am going to make a detailed analysis in the report. But let me just point out a few characteristics. It was my first time to look at investment law in Cambodia. Probably our lawyer Kim Chol-un could provide us more details. Nevertheless, if you look at investment law in Cambodia, they use the term investment project. In general, if we look at foreign investment laws or investment treaties, we don't really use the word project. They use the word investment, and they are subject to foreign investors and foreign investment. And content includes a protection of these foreign investors, for example. But in Cambodia, the law deals with investment project. If you look at the law, it is about incentives and authentication and approval process of foreign investment. So this is very different to foreign investment promotion. So Cambodia use QIP. For example, there are different types of projects that have preferential tax where they have greater incentives. And when they apply for these incentives for the QIP status, the law deals with the whole process, the approval process of registration and receiving incentives. This means that one of the biggest problems of the law is that there isn't much content to promote investment. Of course, incentives can be helpful to domestic investors, but there aren't any specific incentives provided, especially for foreign investors. So there are processes. There are just a process of registration and how to get incentives, but that's what the law generally deals with. So compared to other international investment treaties, terminologies are very different. But is this going to help promote investment in Cambodia? I have a doubt in that. I'm sure that many of you are well aware of this law, but we have CDC and local investment committee. Under CDC, there are CRDB, CIB, and CSEZB, which is Cambodia SEZ Board. So they monitor and manage investment in Cambodia. There are also procedures for registration of investment. They have been revised under the 2021 investment law. But one interesting thing to note is that the registration process has been shortened from existing 28 days. Also, the law emphasizes the one-stop service. They say, I'm already out of time. On the right, there are some obligation duties to report. And they have a very special institution, which is COC, which is the Certificate of Compliance. They have to do report, otherwise they will not get the incentives. And then they also have the general content of investment. Also, protection of foreign investors. One thing to note is that when hiring a foreigner in their workforce, they have a quota. So there are some restrictions, which means that it limits the freedom for foreign investors to do their business in Cambodia. Another thing is dispute settlement system. There are many interesting parts. For example, land settlement is another very interesting part to see. And also, the law only regulates the disputes among investors. So there aren't any laws if there is a dispute with the agencies, for example. And we also have, revised laws in Korea to do arbitration between investors and other agents. And we had many interesting cases. Some are in progress. If you see the case studies, there is a Chinese company involved with the Cambodian agency. So there are many challenges and problems of foreign investment laws. One thing to start with is that the legal terms are very vague and ambiguous. And many articles are non-specific, so there are many rooms for interpretation. So there is a huge room for different interpretation by different civil servants. So this is one point that many have pointed out as a problem of foreign investment laws in Cambodia. Next, we need to see more improvements in Cambodian foreign investment laws. For example, the majority of the content is about registration process and how to give incentives. But normally these content are included in sub-decrees, not in the main articles of the law. Third is transparency. This is a very sensitive issue for foreign investors, providing information. And when there's a change in regulations, it is very important to include foreign stakeholders in the process, but the laws in Cambodia do not include any of this. So if there are any inconvenience occurred, it is very difficult for foreign investors to know and to find out. But this transparency part is very important for foreign investors. And CDC is actually in charge of this field, but there aren't any relevant content with this. The last thing I want to mention is that if you look at the content, there isn't any content that says about the promotion of investment. If you look at other countries' investment laws, many countries actually provide more advantages to foreign investors over domestic investors to attract foreign investment in their countries. However, Cambodian foreign investment laws do not really deal with or provide advantages to foreign investors over their domestic investors. Such content could be included which can promote investment in Cambodia. I would like to wrap up the presentation here.
I would like to ask the panelists to come up to the stage. So that was a great presentation. I'm sorry that we were not able to give you more time. However, the slides are very thorough, and we have 2 cases about dispute settlement, and also there are some suggestions for further improvement. So I believe that the slides were provided to the panelists in advance, and I think we need to now listen to the comments of the panelists. And we have a subsequent session following this session, and that is why we cannot eat into the next session's time. So I would just like the panelists to be very succinct. So let me introduce all the panelists. So Dr. Ki Seraivat from RAC, and also Professor Tae-yor Kwon from Kyung University, and we have lawyer Mr. Chol Kim from One Law Partners. So yes, Dr. Ki.
안녕하십니까.
Good morning.
Professors, doctor, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have only 4 minutes for the discussion. I think it's very less. So I have 3 points to discuss. The first one is for the investment situation in Cambodia. Second one is investment law and also the implementation of the law. So for the investment in Cambodia, we see the most is a Chinese investment. And why it is Chinese investment? Mostly our production is related to the manufacturing of garment, footwear, and travel goods. And most of them invest in the SCZ, Special Economic Zone. And when we discuss about the quality of investment, the quality of investment, they are applying to the law in Cambodia. So in the SEZ, is a good investment, but some investment is outside the SEZ, the quality is not qualified, that we call non-QIP. And when we discuss about the model of investment, so the model investment, mostly the outside SEZ, they invest in the natural resource rather than produce the product and export. Okay, and for the investment laws, I see it is the umbrella of the law. However, there are another law, supportive laws to the investment. So umbrella law, I think it is still broad, still a big loophole, and then another support, like a taxation law. Taxation law is very good, but the implementation of the taxation law is still limited. You know, profit tax just only 20% only. So it's still low compared to other countries. Yeah, but we have 2 times of auditing. So during the auditing, they face many issues because the firm as well try to avoid the tax, and also the tax officer also try to get the benefit from tax avoiding. And also another law is accounting law. So accounting law, they just a new update, and then the investor sometimes face the new update of the accounting laws. They cannot fulfill the financial report well, and this is also another issue. And the last one is duplicate income tax. also will affect to the foreign investors. So the country should have how to say a treaty or should have a MOU between the government and government to reduce the duplicate income tax. And for the implementation, we see the corruption. Yeah, corruption inside the governance is the most important that always complained by the investors. So this is another point. And the second point is our law is still updated, since the country is a new emerging country and the law is need to change to amendments. And the amendment must be done by any regulation change out over time, 2 times per year, 3 times per year, something like this. And then it face the issue to the investor. So I suggest that the government should make it clearly in the investment law, in the taxation law, in the accounting law, and no need any other regulation to support. Thank you.
Thank you. 예, 박수 한번 주시죠.
Yes, a big round of applause.
Suggestions. 예, 그럼
Next, we have Professor Kwon from Kyunghee Law School. When I did my master's, I studied foreign investment. So I came across Vietnam, China, North Korea's foreign investment law, where I wrote a paper on this topic. But when I look at Cambodia's investment law, compared to these countries that I have mentioned, I think the law in Cambodia is far more advanced. And it seems the law is very competitive. But a few recommendations I would like to provide is that the biggest enemy of the investment law is the unclear content. In other words, if we allow too many room of interpretation by public servants in terms of reading the law, there can be a risk. So let me point out a few. For example, if you look at the law in Cambodia, Cambodia is based on market economy, and many countries around the world are making investment in Cambodia. But regarding land in Cambodia, the fact that foreigners cannot own land in Cambodia is probably because Cambodia is not much differentiated with the concept of socialism. And compared to other countries, there needs to be vehicles to do so. And when I look at the corporate law, there aren't many vehicles for investors to utilize in Cambodia for foreign investors or foreign enterprises. If we want to revitalize foreign investment in Cambodia, how can Korea help? If we look at the Cambodia civil law, it has been very much referenced by Japanese law, and Japanese civil law is very similar to Korean law as well. So institutions like KLRI can make a huge contribution to make an improvement. And in 1965, there was a law commission established in Europe to study other laws in other countries. Likewise, Korea has the Korea Legislation Research Institute. Cambodia could build a similar institutions like KLRI to monitor other laws in other countries and make a reference of other countries' laws when they're making laws in Cambodia. Thank you very much for your comment.
요약
Yes, Mr. Chorung Kim, can you summarize and be brief? Yes, let me be brief. So in Cambodia, when you want to engage in foreign investment, the biggest difficulty in relation to the legislation is the following. There is a prepaid corporate tax that has to be paid. And of course, it's a withdrawing tax, and you can be there could be a refund later on, or you may add additional taxes. However, it is oftentimes very difficult to get a refund of this prepaid tax. And also regarding dual taxation, well, we have to show evidence of dual taxation, and it is very difficult to get the right documents from the local country, so we need improvements there. Yes, thank you very much. So the foreign firms will go into the nation, try to invest, and the biggest issue are often tax-related. So thank you very much for pointing out those issues. Now, we cannot invade into the next session's time, although our session is quite important. We do have some questions from the floor, but I think we don't have time to address them at this time. Maybe you can approach the presenters directly later on and ask your questions. And so we did not have ample time, but I am sure that we had a fruitful discussion through the keynote speeches and the comments made by the panelists.
첫 번째, 두 번째 발표.
We would like to wrap up our first and second presentation. Thank you very much. I would like to thank moderator Hong Wan-shik for his contribution. We had a very short time. Nevertheless, we had a very productive session this morning. I hope that this can make a contribution to strengthen the research collaboration between the two countries. Now, let us end Cambodia International Seminar on National Policy Research. Thank you.